You're taught about astral projection, and then you learn that some people use it for evil. I thought my intentions were good. I thought if I could just like muster up enough positive energy that I could push the negative energy away and it couldn't mess with me.
Cameron Clark professed faith in Christ as a boy, but in high school he began being drawn to New Age philosophies.
I would have still said that I was a Christian, but I didn't think drinking or smoking pot was wrong. I thought that that was just fun. I just looked for, well, maybe there's like a spiritual way to justify the life choices that I was making. Crystals or magic or whatever. I mean, it's fine.
He also says he was sexually abused as a young man, which resulted in a deep distrust of people.
It happened more than one time. Having an experience like that, you don't feel safe in the world. You still hold most people at a distance to the extent that like you know you should care about that person, but it's still very easy to like just let go and not care.
When Cameron went off to college, his interest in New Age grew.
I felt like I was taking control and like could have some kind of control over what was happening in my life. It's cleverly worded as healing or evolving. The New Age told me that Jesus was an ascended master. He was just a human who realized he was God. Beginning to believe them, you run up against what you were taught or what you learned when you were younger.
Cameron's parents became concerned.
My husband and I would pray, not understanding and pleading with God to give us the right way to approach it, also to give us patience to talk to him without alienating him.
Eventually, his interests turned to a near obsession.
Crystals were attractive because they were supposed to be healing, energy, manifestation. Tarot cards, same thing as far as like telling you what you should do or what you need to work on or like what things might be happening in the future.
Cameron also tried LSD for the first time in college. But after a while, this combination of drugs and witchcraft took a darker turn. Cameron began being tormented by spirits at night.
Stuff comes into your dreams, you see it around, it moves really fast. So I was really trying to figure out like, this is spiritual warfare or psychic attack. I just want people to leave me alone.
About that same time, Cameron read an article, ironically in a New Age magazine, that made him question his new beliefs.
Jesus was in there with his words from Matthew 5:44 and Luke 6:28. Love your enemies, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who persecute you. And I thought, okay, Jesus, like, can you help me do these things?
Through a mutual friend, Cameron met Pastor Chad Osborne and his wife Hunter, a former Wiccan who had turned to Christ, and whose story was featured on the 700 Club.
She invited me to have dinner with them, and that was incredibly impactful because there's a number of things that they explained.
What I remember about that night is Cameron coming and sharing some experiences that he was having, like seeing things, you know, seeing what I interpret to be just dark forces, and him just really being terrified about that. And we shared with him, there's only one way to be free of that thing, and that is to submit to Jesus.
Because of the spiritual seeds that were planted in his childhood, Cameron responded quickly.
When I prayed and asked God to make himself real to me, I believed that he would, and he did. I just realized that Jesus was Lord, that I needed him to take control, that I needed him to save me. I literally bowed down on my knees and I gave my life to God. I gave my life to Jesus.
Cameron enrolled at Cedarville University and is planning to pursue a career in ministry to help others avoid the pitfalls he experienced.
His Spirit has faithfully worked in me. I'm not paralyzed by thoughts that I can't overcome. I am rebuilding relationships with my family. I'm actually experiencing love for others and receiving love from others. As I read His Word, as I pray, as I worship, all of that is God working in me. As good as it gets is only a fraction of how good it will be when you're with Jesus.